CBSE Plus 2 English. In our last class, we have started vistas, that is the fourth lesson, the enemy. First part got over. Hope you all have understood the first part. Today we are going to discuss the second part. Are you all ready to listen to the second part? If you are ready, let's begin. Let's begin the second part. The kindest thing would be to put him back into the sea, Hannah said. But neither of them moved. They were staring with a curious repulsion upon the inert figure. What's he? Hannah whispered. There's something about him that looks American, Sadao said. He took up the battered cap. Yes, there, almost gone, was the faint lettering. A sailor, he said, from an American warship. He spelled it out. U.S. Navy. The man was a prisoner of war. He has escaped, Hannah cried softly, and that is why he is wounded. In the back, Sadao agreed. They hesitated, looking at each other. Then Hannah said with resolution, Come, are we able to put him back into the sea? If I am able, are you? Sadao asked. No, Hannah said. But if you can do it, Lon? Sadao hesitated again. The strange thing is, he said, that if the man were whole, I could turn him over to the police without difficulty. I care nothing for him. He is my enemy. All Americans are my enemy, and he is only a common fellow. You see how foolish his face is, but since he is wounded. You also cannot throw him back to the sea, Hannah said. Then there is only one thing to do. We must carry him into the house. So my dear children, in the last class we discussed that both the husband and wife, Dr. Sadao and Hannah, decided to put this man back to the sea, right? That time, both of them looked at that inert figure who was lying down, okay? And that time, Hannah cried that, what's he? That was the question. There we stopped. Today, we're going to begin from here. Okay, listen. So Hannah asked that, what's he? That time, only from the appearance, both of them concluded that he belongs to America or he's an American. Okay, now they wanted to get more about him. So he just, Sadao lifted the battered cap, and there he saw some fainted letters, something was written there, okay. So they tried to read it, and they got that, what is this? It is written there, a sailor, okay. What was written there? A sailor. So, and they came to know that he is a sailor, and not only that, something else was there, okay. What was that? U.S. Navy. So now both of them, the husband and wife, came to know that the man, he's a sailor, that too from U.S. Navy. Now the picture is clear for them, okay. The American, he is a sailor from U.S. Navy. The Japanese army just captured, or just Japanese army arrested him, and they were just taking control over him, okay. That time the sailor escaped from them, okay, and jumped into the sea. So Japanese army shot him. That's why in the back he got that wound, okay. And this man, this sailor, he escaped through the sea and came to their shore. That was the picture. They got it clearly now, okay. And anyhow, now Hannah said that, so he is a prisoner. Now we came to know clearly that he is a prisoner, okay, that too from our enemy side. Americans are our enemies. So Dr. Sadao, what are you going to do with him? Like Hannah asked. So Sadao said that, okay, see, we want to put him back into the sea. Shall we do like that? He asked. So Hannah was not ready to accompany him, to take this man, put him back to the sea. So if Sadao is ready to do it alone, Hannah agreed, okay. But Sadao also was not able to put this man into the sea, only because of the humanitarian consideration, okay. And Sadao said that, actually I want to put him back to the sea, or I want to hand over him to the police, okay. But the man is a whole, means that if he is in a perfect condition, sure, I must hand over this man to the police, okay. But he is wounded. We cannot hand over him to the police, and we cannot put him back to the sea, okay. So these two things are not going to happen. We cannot do these two things like Sadao said. And even Hannah also agreed. So Hannah said that we cannot hand over him to the police, or we cannot put him back to the sea. Only the thing we can do is that we You can carry this man to the house, okay, and do something for him. Only that is the way to do. Like that, Hannah said. But the servants, Sadao inquired. We must simply tell them that we intend to give him to the police, as indeed we must, Sadao. We must think of the children and your position. I would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. Thus agreed together, they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time until it has only feathers and skeleton. So thus arms hanging, they carried him up the steps into the side door of the house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man, who would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. Hannah went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flat silk and the lining was pure white silk. "He's so dirty," she murmured in distress. "Yes, he had better be washed," Sadao agreed. "If you will fetch hot water, I'll wash him." So now Sadao said that actually Americans are our enemy. All Americans are, and even this person also belongs to America, so he is also our enemy. At the same time, he is badly wounded, so we cannot hand over him to the police or we cannot put him back to the sea. So the one thing we can do is that carry him to the home. Like that, both of them decided. And that time Sadao inquired, okay, if we are ready to take him to our home, servants are there. Okay, just listen children, all the Japanese, they just show their real patriotism. Okay, no compromise in that matter, whether the servant or the officials, whoever are they just showed their real patriotism. So Dr. Sadao knows that servants are there at home. If they carry this white man to their home, sure they would make problem. That Sadao knows. That's why he asked about the servants. That time Hannah said, okay, we'll just talk to the servants and inform them that he is the prisoner, and soon we are going to hand over this man to the police. For that purpose only we carried him home, like we would say. That was the reply given by Hannah. And of course we must do that, Sadao, because he is our enemy. We must hand over him to the police. Okay, after doing the necessary things and all, we must hand over him to the police. Like that Hannah said. And one more thing Hannah added that, see, you must take care of our children and then your position also. Because if somebody comes to know that we are just taking care of an American, sure, you will be also in trouble, and even our children also would be under trouble. So we should not give him shelter in our home. We must immediately hand over him to the police, that we are going to inform our servant, and that only we are going to do. Like that, who said? Hannah said. So Sadao also agreed, yes, of course, I am also decided same thing only, we will hand over him to the police soon. Okay, like that they just decided, and both of them, the husband and wife, lifted the man, the American, and they started moving towards their house. Okay, and the one side of the house, a partition door was there. Partition door, the side door. Okay, that is the sliding door. We can slide the door. So they just went to. They did not went directly through the front door. Okay, what they did, they just took the side way, and there was a partition door, and they just slid the door and went inside. Okay, while carrying this man, they came to know that the man was very light in weight. Why? Because for a long time he had not been eaten anything. Okay, that only they came to know. Okay, so that's why the man was very light in weight. It was very easy for them to carry him to their home. Okay, and then they went through the side door and reached Dr. Sadao's father's room. Understood? So that father died before. In the last class we discussed. Now the room was empty. Nobody was using that room. It was locked for a long time. Now they opened the door and went inside with this man. Okay, so that room, how was it? Everything, each and every furniture belongs to Japan, because Sadao's father was a real patriot and he never used any foreign goods, okay. So each and everything was decorated with Japanese items, okay. So Sadao just took this American, even you just imagine that even the things he cannot use, the foreign things. Now Sadao and Hana carried the foreign good. What was that? The man to that room, okay, you imagine. But the father was not there, so they just took him to father's room, clear. And they went inside. That time Hana went to the cupboard. She just wanted to take a quilt. What is that quilt? Blanket, okay. She just wanted to take it. She took that blanket from the cupboard and the blanket was pure white with flowers decorated and all. It's very soft and that too a new quilt. She took it out, okay, and came near to that person. She wanted to spread that, okay. So she took that quilt and came near to that person. That time she looked at the man and said that the man is very dirty. Really, he's dirty, okay. I cannot give my blanket. That was the thing, understood. So doctor said that, yes, he is dirty. We must wash him. If you fetch hot water, I can give him wash, okay, like that, doctor said. That time you imagine, Hana just behaved a typical woman, okay. That situation was very worse. Then also she was just taking care of her blanket, okay. That is the woman nature. So she behaved a typical woman. And then that time doctor just said that, okay, the man is really dirty. We must give him a wash. You fetch hot water and I can give him wash. Like that he said, okay. I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. We shall have to tell the servants he is here. I'll tell Yumi now. She can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I'll tell the others. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart too was yet alive. He will die unless he is operated on, Sadao said, considering. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Hana cried out in fear, don't try to save him. What if he should live? What if he should die? Sadao replied. He stood gazing down on the motionless man. This man must have extraordinary vitality or he would have been dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not at 25. You mean die from the operation? Hana asked. Yes, Sadao said. Immediately Hana said that, okay, see, I will never let you to wash him. You should not wash him. Instead, we'll inform our servants, okay. This man is here, so servants would come and they must do it, okay. So you should not touch the body like Hana said, okay. Here also she behaved as a typical woman. She is not ready to allow her husband to wash the body, clear. And now she just said that we would inform our servants and they would come and wash him, okay. That was her reply, clear. And now even Sadao also agreed, let it be like that, okay. You inform Yumi. Yumi is the female servant in their home, okay. Her duty is that she take care of their children, understood. You know that foreign countries along with their home, one room would be there, okay. One room will be there that is for children, okay. Nursery they used to call all the toys, their bed, kids bedroom arranged there and all, and they keep a lady there, okay, for taking care of their children. So here Yumi is the female servant. Her duty is that to take care of Sadao's and Hana's children. So now Sadao said that, Hana, you go and inform Yumi and I'll inform others. Means that some other servants are also there in their house. Clear? Who are they? You will come to know one by one. Now doctor asked Hana to inform this matter to Yumi. Clear? And Hana also agreed. And that time, doctor looked at the American's face, okay. It was really pale. Means that some critical situation doctor sensed, okay. So doctor went near to him and he wanted to touch his pulse. Doctor took his wrist and tested the pulse. And it was very weak. Feeble means very weak, but it was there. Means that the man did not die at the same time. He is in a critical condition that doctor came to know. So doctor said that immediately I must do the operation, otherwise he would die, that he said. So Hannah asked that, are you going to do the operation? She asked. So Sadao said that yes. That time Hannah said that don't try to save him, okay, let him die. You don't want to save him like that. Hannah said, and she said that if he would be alive, what is going to happen? Nothing, okay, we don't want to take him back to life, or we don't want to get him back to life. Let him die, like that way Hannah said. So Dr. Sadao said that if he die also, nothing would happen. If he come back to life also, nothing would happen. And if he die also, nothing would happen. Okay. So I must do the operation, like that. Who said? Sadao said. Here, Dr. Sadao showed here his real professional ethics. Okay. In front of a doctor, if a patient comes, the doctor should not look at any other aspects. His caste, community, native place, nothing else, okay, only the professional ethics. So he behaved as a typical doctor here. He decided to do the operation, okay. That was his decision. And now Dr. Sadao said that actually this man has a good vitality. Vitality means good capacity, okay, because he got that gun shoot and he came to that spiked rocks, okay. Then also still he's alive, means that he has extra strength, like that the doctor said. And that too, the man was too young. From his face, they came to know that he's about 25, only that much, okay. Very young person, 25 years old. He's about 25 years that they came to know. Because of that young age, he was just now, he's alive, okay. He survived all these things and now he is alive, the doctor added. Anyhow, now Sadao decided to do the operation. You mean die from the operation? Hannah asked. Yes, Sadao said. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadao turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him, he said. And first he must be washed. He went quickly out of the room and Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. He was the first she had seen since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was her enemy, a menace, living or dead. She turned to the nursery and called Yumi. So Dr. Sadao decided to do the operation, but Hannah was not ready to leave him. She asked that, you mean die in the operation? She thought that while doing operation, the doctor is going to kill the patient. Okay, like that way she just thought. So she asked that, you mean die in the operation? No other way. Dr. Sadao replied that, yes. Okay. This means if it happened, let it be. Like that way doctor replied. And that time Hannah wants to say something, but she did not speak anything. So Dr. Sadao did not get any reply from her. That time doctor was in hurry to do something else, because immediately he must do the operation. So he wanted to go out of the room and wanted to do the preparation for the operation. Understood? So he went out to another room. And that time Hannah, for some times, Hannah was there along with that white man, okay. But Hannah also did not want to stay alone with the white man, because she knows that that white man is her enemy. But in that condition, the enemy is not going to do anything, because even he is not able to move at all. Okay, so nothing would happen. That clearly she knows. Then also she did not want to stay there alone. And one more thing is also there. She had studied there in America. When she left America for the first time, she is saying an American now. Okay, she just met a lot of Americans there while studying. But when she left America, this is for the first time, she just saw very closely an American. Okay, that is the thought. Anyhow, she also went out of the room and called the servant Yumi. I told you who is she? Yes, she is the female servant in their home. Okay, so she called Yumi. And anyhow, now they must get the help of the servants to give a wash to the American. Okay, that must be done immediately. But the children heard her voice and she had to go in for a moment and smile at them and play with a baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, "Yumi, come with me. I'll put the baby to bed," Yumi replied. "He's ready." She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and laid the baby between them. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled the few hairs on his upper lip. "The master ought not to heal the wound of this white man," he said bluntly to Hannah. "The white man ought to die. First he was shot, then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rocks. If the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us." "I'll tell him what you see," Hannah replied courteously, but she herself was also frightened, although she was not superstitious as the old man was. Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. When Hannah called Yumi, the children heard her voice. Okay, you people know that whoever are taking care of children needs their mother, okay, and they can identify their mother easily. So when the children heard her voice, they wanted to see their mother. So Hannah went to the nursery, and even the small boy, okay, only nearly 3 months only, that old boy. So she just took him and kissed him on his hairs, and even with mouth she showed the action and all, she showed her affection. Okay, only 3 months old boy. And she asked Hannah that you must just put him down, this boy, okay, means the baby, you must put him down. You have some other work, like that, Hannah said. And now Yumi said that, okay, madam, he's ready, means he's about to sleep only. I can spread the bedspread and we'll just keep him, okay, like who said? Yumi said. Now Yumi went to the bedroom and she spread the quilt, okay, the blanket for the baby, and that time Hannah carried the baby in her arm only, and when the quilt was ready, Hannah put the baby on the blanket, okay. And after that, Hannah called Yumi with her and both of them went to the kitchen, okay. There other two servants also were there. Who were there? One is the old gardener and the other one is the cook. Okay. So there are 3 servants in their home. Who are they? Yumi, old gardener, and the third one is the cook. Okay. So the 3 when Yumi and Hannah reached in the kitchen, already the other 2 servants, the cook and the old gardener, both were there. So they were just really shocked in that way. They were standing inside the kitchen. Why? You know, because Sadao went and informed them about the enemy's arrival at their home. Okay, that already the servants also came to know. So when Hannah reached the kitchen, the old gardener said that our master should not help the enemy. Okay, let him die. Should not try to save him. Master means Dr. Sadao should not try to save his life. Like that way, the old gardener said. My dear children, I told you in the beginning, each and everyone, all the Japanese, they have the pure patriotism. Okay. So, he said that our master, Dr. Sadao, should not try to save the enemy. That was the opinion of the old gardener. And he added something else, okay, because he is very old, he has some superstitious belief also. So, he said that, see, first the enemy got gunshot and badly wounded, okay. Then he jumped into the sea. Even sea also took revenge against him. Okay, how sea took revenge? With the spiked rocks. Okay, and that too also went inside and he got badly injured. So even the gun also took revenge. The sea also took revenge. Then he escaped and came to our shore. So our master should not try to save him. If he does so, sure, the evil spirit would revenge on our master, so should not do like that. This was the old gardener's superstitious belief. Actually, Hannah also a bit frightened, okay, by hearing this. Hannah was not that much superstitious, then also she knows that should not help an enemy, okay. So that was in her mind. So she said that to the old gardener, okay, what you said, I just informed this to your master or Dr. Sadao, okay. Sure, I'll inform this, like that. Who said? Hana said. And after that, she asked Yumi to fetch hot water to that room where the enemy or the American was. To that room, she asked Yumi to fetch hot water. She went ahead and slid back the partition. Sadako was not there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. I have never washed a white man, she said, and I'll not wash so dirty a one now. Hana cried at her severely. You will do what your master commands you. There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round, dull face that Hana felt unreasonably afraid. After all, if the servants should report something, that was not as it happened. Very well, she said with dignity, you understand we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prisoner. I'll have nothing to do with it, Yumi said. I'm a poor person and it is not my business. Then please, Hana said gently, return to your own work. At once Yumi left the room, but this left Hana with the white man alone. She might have been too afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Stupid Yumi, she muttered fearlessly. Is this anything but a man, and a wounded, helpless man? In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rags that kept the white man covered. When she had his breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blonde when he was a child. Yumi fetched the hot water and went along with Hana, okay. Both of them reached the room, okay, where the white man was. And that time, when they reached there, Yumi kept the wooden bucket there and went near to the American. And for the first time, she's just saying an American very closely, okay. And she said that, I never give wash to a white man and that to a dirty one like this, okay. I won't do it. That was Yumi's reply, okay. What was that? I never gave bath to any white man and now this man is so dirty too and a white man, I cannot give him wash, okay. That was Yumi's reply. Now Hana got angry. Hana said that you must do it, okay. Do it what I said, okay. I am your master. I just commanded you. You must do it, like that, Hana said. That Yumi just looked very angry at Hana, okay. So Hana became afraid. You know that actually Yumi is a servant, but here Hana cannot act as a mistress, okay. Why? Why? Because you people know that, okay, they are keeping an enemy at home. If the servant would go outside and spread some rumors, okay, what exactly happened here? Just opposite something would be spreaded, sure, Hana and Dr. Sadako would be under trouble. Okay, that's why Hana controlled all the anger and she asked that, Yumi, if you are not able to wash this man, you please go back to your own work. What was Yumi's work? Go to the nursery and take care of the children. Okay, that was the reply given by Hana. Okay, now Yumi went out of the room. Because she was just really very stern, okay, she was not ready to wash the white man. So she just left the room, clear. And now Hana was alone there in that room, okay. Actually Hana also wanted to go out of the room, clear. But now Hana got angry towards Yumi that sustained her inside the room. She did not go outside, okay. And she decided herself that, okay, if Yumi did not do, I'll do it, okay. I don't want anyone's help, like that. She decided, she took that wooden bucket and the clean towel Yumi bought there. She took that and went near to the white man and just removed the tie, okay. Something was just tied his shirt or something, okay, badly torn. Then also she just removed everything and now she could see the bare chest, okay. And she put the towel in the water and started wiping the face first, okay. And when she cleaned the face, she just saw that, okay, a clean face, blonde means I told you that golden face she could see. So that time Hana just thought for a moment that like a very young baby, okay, like that way the face was. I told you in the beginning it was very young, okay. When she washed the face, she could just saw that, what is it, the blonde face, okay, very small young face she could see, okay, while washing his face. while she was thinking these thoughts, not really liking the man better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. But she dared not turn him over where was Sadao. Now her anger was ebbing and she was anxious again, and she rose, wiping her hands on the wrong towel. Then, lest the man be chilled, she put the quilt over him. Sadao, she called softly. He had been about to come in when she called. His hand had been on the door and now he opened it. She saw that he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag and that he wore his surgeon's coat. "You have decided to operate?" she cried. "Yes," he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonoma alcove and put his instruments out upon it. "Fetch towels," he said. She went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towels. There ought also to be old pieces of matting so that the blood would not ruin the fine floor covering. She went out to the back veranda where the gardener kept strips of matting with which to protect delicate shrubs on cold nights, and took an armful of them. But when she went back into the room, she saw this was useless. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. "Oh, the mat!" she cried. "Yes, it is ruined," Sadao replied, as though he did not care. "Help me to turn him," he commanded her. She obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man's back carefully. "Yumi would not wash him," she said. "Did you wash him then?" Sadao asked, not stopping for a moment his swift, concise movements. "Yes," she said. So when she washed his face, she felt that he is like an innocent child, okay. But immediately she corrected her thought, okay. He was not a child, 25 years, about 25 years old man, okay. So she corrected her thought and started wiping his breast and all. Understood? Almost the upper part of the body was quite clean, but she was not there to turn his body. Why? Because the wound was there only. She did not want to see the wound. That's why only upper part of the body was quite clean. And that time also, Sadao did not arrive yet. Okay, he went out of the room long before, and still he was not there alone. Who was doing this all? Hana was doing all these things. Understood? And now Hana just softly called Sadao, like that she called, and that time Sadao was about to come inside. She saw Sadao's hand on the door, okay, and the door opened. Sadao came inside, and really Hana was shocked to see Sadao. Why? Because he wore the surgeon's coat and he brought the surgeon's kit also, okay, because he's ready to do the surgery. For that he wore the surgery coat, and even he brought the surgery toolkit also. He just brought there. And he came inside. That time Hana asked that, "Are you really going to do the operation?" Like Hana asked. So Sadao replied, "Yes, I am going to do the operation. You just help me, okay, and bring the towels," like he asked, okay. "I want to keep all these things, okay, for the surgery kit and all. I just wanted to spread it over. So you must bring the towels." So she went near to the cupboard and take the towel, and even Sadao also had some sterilized towel and all. He spread it on the mat, okay, and the Japanese floor mat was kept. There were very beautiful mat, okay, along that over it he just spread the towel and kept all the surgery things and all. And that time Hana just thought like this, okay, when Sadao opened the wound and all, sure the man would bleed, okay, that means the bleeding would be there. So it will just spoil the mat, that she knows, okay. So what she did, she wanted to go outside and take some matting. Matting means pieces of mat kept outside, okay, for just giving protection to the herbs. They used to keep small pieces of mats outside, okay. The gardener always used to keep the small pieces of mats outside for giving protection to the herbs during winter season. For that purpose, every time Sadao's house, pieces of mats will be there. So Hana decided that must bring those pieces of mat and kept under where the body is, just under that she must keep it, okay. Then the blood would not ruin the mat. Like that way she decided. She went outside to take this matting and took an armful of pieces of mat, and came inside. But when she came inside, she came to know that that matting was useless. Why? Because already the mat ruined with blood, okay. Blood stains everywhere. She just saw that. Clear? And anyhow, now the doctor is ready to do the operation. The doctor was ready to do the operation and she saw that the mat was ruined. So she cried, okay, oh my mat, it's ruined. Like that she shouted, okay. So doctor said that, yes, it's ruined. Like that he said. And I told you in the beginning, she was just not ready to give the quilt. Now she was carrying off that mat and all, okay. So doctor said that it's already ruined. Nothing can be done, he said, okay. And Hannah came near to him. So doctor said, you must help me while doing the operation, like doctor said. And that time Hannah said, you did not wash him, like she informed this to doctor. So doctor asked that, then who washed him? The upper part was clean, so who washed him? You did, like he asked. And Hannah agreed that she only gave him wash, okay. And they were talking in that way. He did not seem to hear her, but she was used to his absorption when he was at work. She wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, as it was for the work he did so excellently. You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it, he said. I, she repeated blankly, but never have I. It is easy enough, he said impatiently. He was taking out of the packing now and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. The bullet is still there, he said with cool interest. Now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet, but the bleeding is not superficial. He has lost much blood. At this moment, Hannah choked. He looked up and saw her face the color of sulphur. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching, but he went on with his work. It will be better for her to empty her stomach, he thought. He had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like dead under his knife. So, doctor gave wash, okay. I told you Hannah was not ready to turn the body, but now doctor came and turned the body and just washed, okay. Now the man is quite clean. See, actually I told you Hannah and doctor both were talking, and that time also doctor was doing something very fast, okay. His fingers were just moving somewhere through the body. Excellently he was doing the work. Hannah just admired or appreciated him, okay, herself only. She did not say anything, but she was just looking the movements of his fingers and all, how the doctor was doing. She was really nice to see these all things. Clear? And anyhow, after washing the body, doctor asked Hannah that if I ask you to give anesthesia to the patient, you must give. You people all know that what is anesthesia, okay? Before operation, we must give, okay, to make the patient unconscious, okay. For that purpose, doctor asked Hannah to give anesthesia when he asked her to do it. That time, Hannah really shocked. Hannah was really shocked. Why? Because she had never given anesthesia to anyone, because she is not a doctor. So she asked that like that she asked. So doctor said that yes, here no nurse, nobody is here to help me. So you must do that. You must give the anesthesia, like doctor said. And also he said that it's very easy, okay, nothing to be scared. It's very easy, like that he said. And after that, doctor just tied the surgeon's light on his forehead and went near to the man, American, okay, the white man, and started searching for the wound and all. Means that how the wound, how much deep it is, and whether the bullet is still there and all. He wanted to know that, so he just started searching. And when he put his fingers that time, bleeding was just, it was not superficial, just bleeding everywhere. You would see the bleeding, okay, that means he cannot stop the bleeding, like that way it just started flowing. Clear? And when he just searched with his expert fingers by using the surgeon's light, okay, he said that yes, the bullet is still there. He found the bullet inside, okay. And he added that bullet is there, but I don't know that how much the wound is deep, okay, because he came through that spiked rocks. So how much the rocks went inside and the wound is how much deep, that I don't know, okay. If the wound is very deep, sure the bullet also will be very deep inside and it is really difficult to take it out. So I wanted to search the deep or the depth of the wound, okay, like that he said. And he added that the blood is not superficial, the man had lost much blood. So something must be done. Like that way the doctor was talking and he was doing his duty, okay, the fast movements, every word he just made it with his expert fingers. And that time immediately he heard the choking sound, okay, he looked up and he saw that Hannah was just choking. What happened to her? Yes, she took that anesthesia sulfur, okay, that anesthesia bottle and smelled it. You people know that if we smell anesthesia bottle, what will happen, okay? So she started choking. And that time doctor cannot leave this body, okay, so he just clapped at her face and asked her to go out, okay. And Hannah immediately left the room. After some time, doctor heard that Hannah was retching in the garden. Retching means she started vomiting. That vomiting sound he could hear inside. And that moment, as a husband, he wanted to go with her and comfort her, okay? But he was really helpless. In this condition, if he leave the body or the white man there alone, sure he would die because he already opened the wound, okay? So he cannot leave the man there. If he leave in that condition, sure the man would die. At the same time, as a lovable husband, he wanted to go outside and comfort Hannah, but he was really helpless. And with that thought, he became a bit angry with the man. Because of this man only, he was not able to go outside and comfort his wife, okay? Like that way he thought, and with rough way, he started handling the wound. This man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless. And he proceeded swiftly. In his dream, the man moaned, but Sadavo paid no heed except to mutter at him. Groan, he muttered, groan if you like. I am not doing this for my own pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I am doing it. The door opened and there was Hannah again. Where is the anesthetic? She asked in a clear voice. Sadavo motioned with his chin. It is as well that you come back, he said. This fellow has begun to stir. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I do it? She asked. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils, Sadavo replied without delaying for one moment. The intricate detail of his work, when he breathes badly, move it away a little. She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. It was a piteously thin face, she thought, and the lips were twisted. The man was suffering whether he knew it or not. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of the prisoners were true. They came like flickers of rumor told by word of mouth and always contradicted. In the newspaper, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at the liberation. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takayama, who at home beat his wife cruelly, though no one mentioned it now, that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. If a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? She hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was at this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck, just under the ear. So with that thought, he started opening the wound very fast or roughly, understood, because he was not able to go and comfort his wife. With that thought, he started opening the wound in a rough way. And that time, you know that the white man, he was really unconscious. At the same time, the pain he felt, okay, he cried in pain. Okay, mourn means cried in pain. Listen carefully, he was unconscious, then also he felt the pain, he cried. That time, doctor became rough. He said that, okay, mourn or cry, groan, if you want, you can cry, no problem. What is the sake? Okay, why I am doing this? I don't know. Okay, why should I help you? Why should I try to save you? I don't know at all. Then also I am doing this, okay, it will never give me any happiness. I know it clearly, okay, I would be under trouble. Then also I cannot leave you. I am doing something, okay, for why that I don't know. Okay, like that the doctor said, and he started opening the wound and all. And that time again Hannah came inside the room, okay, and Hannah asked that, was the anesthesia, okay, anesthesia kit, she asked. So doctor said that, where you kept before going outside? There only, I didn't touch it. And you must do you must give the anesthesia, because the white man started moving. Okay, I cannot do the operation because the pain he just felt. That's why he started stirring. Stirring means moving. You must give the anesthesia. So Hannah asked that, how can I give? I don't know how can I give anesthesia. She asked that. So doctor said that it's very easy. Saturate the cotton. You just wet the cotton with that medicine, okay, and keep the cotton near his nostrils. When he just breathes, then you can remove the cotton. Okay, that is the only steps. Okay, that are the steps you must do. Okay, like who gave the instruction? Doctor gave the instruction to his wife Hannah. So Hannah just saturated the cotton and went near to the patient. Okay, the white man, and she just looked at his face. That time a lot of thoughts came to her mind, okay, because she knows that the man is a prisoner. We people also know that if any person is captured as a prisoner, what are the tortures he must undergo? We all know that. So that thought came to her mind. See, actually he is a prisoner and Japanese army caught him. Okay, then only he got that gunshot and all. So she started thinking in this way. See, whenever a war happens or war, after the war, when the army come back to their own country, the people in the country used to receive them with a lot of songs and all, okay, because they want to celebrate their victory. For that they used to do. A lot of news comes through newspaper and all, okay. They all read that news, and even we people also know that every time who are the victor, who are the what is that? Whenever they just get the victory, they used to celebrate it. Okay, so same like that, she just come to know one news. Okay, that is about a general in Takayama. A general was there in Takayama. He also came after the battle and all, and received by the people. Okay, they celebrated his victory and all. At the same time, the general, he just saved for the country, but he was not kind enough. Okay, even whenever he comes to home, he used to beat his wife very rudely. So Hannah started thinking that a general, if he is not kind enough to his wife, he badly beat a woman, means like that general, if they get a prisoner in their hand, how would they treat them? Okay, like that she just asked. So now the man might be got in their hand and all, and of course he would be tortured by them. Like that she started thinking, and went near to him and just looked at him closely. That time Hannah saw one more thing. What is that? A red scar under his ears. A red scar was there under his ears. She saw that. What is it? She asked. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sadao. But he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard, dangerously near the kidney. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. He probed with his fingers, delicately familiar with every atom of his human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge. Ignorance of human body is the surgeon's cardinal senses. He had thundered at his classes year after year to operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it anything less than it, that is murder. So Hannah asked that, what is those scars? Okay, she just saw some mark under the ears. Okay, she asked that, what is those scars? But Sadao did not reply anything. Why, you know? Because his sharp instrument went deep inside that wound and that instrument stuck somewhere. Means that it touched the bullet. He came to know that. And as a doctor, he felt happy. Okay, that pleasure he cannot express, because that was his duty. Now the instrument touched the bullet. He must remove it. Okay, only that was his thought. Okay, that's why he did not reply anything to Hannah. Clear? And while just trying to remove that bullet, it just, you know, that sharp instrument went inside deeply, and then just trying to remove the bullet. Okay, that times immediately the sound of his professor came to his ears. Okay, means when he was there in America learning this medicine, okay, his anatomy professor used to say that without knowing a human body, if you touch that body, that is really a surgeon's cardinal mistake. Okay, cardinal sin means that if you do not know the body properly, or if you do not know the operation, how to do and all, if you do not know, should not touch the body. If you do so without knowing a body, if you do so, sure, that is really a murder. You are killing someone, okay, like that. The anatomy professor, year after year, every time in his class, he used to repeat this word, okay. Unknowing a human body is a surgeon's cardinal sin. That was his words, okay. So, before doing the operation, every doctor must know the body properly, okay. Otherwise, without knowing, if you touch the body, that is really a murder, like that the professor used to say. So those words just came and echoed in his ears that time. And with all the effort, he started removing the bullet with that sharp instrument. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sadao murmured. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself to an operation. My friend, he always called his patients, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man cured, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. Sadao, Hana cried sharply. Hush, Sadao said. The man sank again into silence so profound that Sadao took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble, but enough if he wanted the man to live, to give hope. But certainly, I do not want this man to live, he thought. No more anesthetic, he told Hana. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused from his medicine. He chose a small vial and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once or twice and then grew stronger. Doctor just put that sharp instrument deep inside the wound, okay, and the instrument went inside and nearly it went inside near to the kidney, okay. Means that the bullet was not in the kidney, near to kidney, okay. And he started removing it, okay. And while removing, he said that, my friend, oh, you are very lucky. The bullet is not in the kidney, near the kidney only. Like that he said. This is his habit. While doing the operation, he used to talk to his patients, and that too he called them as friend. So here also he said that, my friend, okay, you are lucky because the bullet is near the kidney only, not in the kidney, like that he said. But he forgot that he is not his friend, he is his enemy, okay. But that is his practice. That's why he called his enemy also friend. Anyhow, with the knife or the instrument, he made small incisions. Incision means cut. Made the small cut and all, and he put that instrument again, and he was able to pull out the bullet. Yes, the bullet was out, he said, okay. But when the bullet came out, even the patient cried in pain. He said that he was still unconscious. Then also he said that, guts, they got my guts. Like that way, in pain, he just cried, okay. And that time, even Hana, she's not a doctor. You people know that, okay. She was just lively. She was just seeing that, okay, everything live operation. So she cried, okay, Sadao, like that she called. And that time Sadao said, shh, okay, why? Because now that moment, patient should not wake up. We know that, okay, if it happened, he would die. So he showed that action, and Hana became silent. And after some time, again, the white man became unconscious. He just, okay, he was very silent and he was not moving at all, okay. He stayed there like. And that time, doctor went near to the medicine and took a small bottle, injection bottle, and filled the syringe, okay, came here and gave the hypodermic. Hypodermic means an injection over the skin, okay. He gave it to the patient. And after that, doctor went near to him and touched his pulse. It was very feeble, very weak, okay, and he touched it. He gave the injection and he touched it for the first time. It was very feeble, 1, 2, like that it was. And finally, it started growing stronger, okay. Means that the pulse was normal. He felt so. Why? Because the patient was out of danger. The doctor was able to pull out the bullet. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hana and sighed. The young man walked so weak, his blue eyes so terrified when he perceived where he was, that Hana felt compelled to apologize. She herself saved him, for none of the servants would enter the room. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small trunk to be prepared for some Fearful thing. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly. How come? You speak English, he gasped. I was long time in America, she replied. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he could not. And so she knelt and fed him gently from his Brooklyn spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. He did not answer. When Sadawo came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort. Lie down, Sadawo cried. Do you want to die? He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound. You may kill yourself if you do this sort of thing, he scolded. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? For a moment, Sadawo did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man. I do not know myself what I shall do with you, he said. I ought, of course, to give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, do not tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the young man was about to speak. Do not even tell me your name unless I ask it. They looked at each other for a moment and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Sadawo. He saw at once that she was in trouble. Then Sadawo said that, okay, in spite of all, this man would live. Okay, means he is out of danger. Like that, Sadawo said. And after some time, what happened, the white man opened his eyes, that bluish eyes, okay. Hannah could see that. And when the man opened his eyes, he looked around and he came to know that he is in a Japanese house, okay. So he just became afraid. You people know that he is a prisoner, that too, Japanese army's prisoner. So where is he and all, he was not able to understand in that situation. And that time Hannah saw and Hannah said that, okay, you will be alright soon. Nothing to be worried, okay, you are alright. Like that way she just spoke to him in English. So that time the white man was really shocked to hear her English. How do you know English? Like he asked. Because Hannah is a Japanese girl and speaking English. So he asked that, how do you know English? Like, and Hannah replied to the white man that I was long been in America for my studies. I learned English from there, like she replied. And Hannah brought food for him with long spoon. She herself fed the man, okay. And that time also we people must get the thing that, okay, Hannah and even Dr. Sadawo both are kind-hearted. You just imagine their enemy they got in their hand, then also they themselves, okay, they don't want to do these all things, then also themselves they do only because of that humanitarian consideration and with that kind heart. Am I right? Yes, she started feeding the man with the long spoon, okay, and said that, okay, you will be alright soon, nothing to be worried. Like that, she comforted him. Understood? Actually, Hannah and Sadawo did not want the man to alive, okay, at the same time, for his good thing only, she just comforted him, you will be alright, like. And third day of operation, third day finished, 3 days finished, okay, third day of the operation, Sadawo came again to that room, the white man's room, okay. That time Sadawo saw that the man took all the effort, he gathered all the strength and he was just trying to sit up, okay. And that time Dr. Sadawo got angry, he shouted that, what are you doing, are you going to kill yourself? Like that he asked, okay, only 3 days finished, this much deep wound, okay, you should not do this, okay, if you try like this again, you are just killing yourself, you should know that, should not repeat it. Like that doctor said and helped him to lay down again. And doctor examined the wound was almost okay, like that way doctor. At that time the white man asked that, what are you going to do with me? Okay, means that I am an American, you are a Japanese doctor, so what are you going to do me? What is your decision? Are you going to hand over me to the police? Like that the man asked. So Dr. Sadawo said that, I don't know anything, okay, what I am going to do even till I didn't decide it, okay. I didn't decide it, like that doctor said. Clear? And doctor said that you should not ask me anything. Even I don't want to know your name also, because the white man wanted to say something else, okay. Dr. Sadawo came to know that he wanted to speak. And doctor was not ready to listen to him. So doctor said that, I don't want to even know your name, okay, should not speak to me. If I ask something later, that time only you must say something. Now you just close your mouth. Don't want to listen to you like that. Doctor said and stopped that talk there. And the man agreed and he turned towards the wall and just lay down. Okay. And doctor came out of the room. When doctor came out of the room, Hannah was waiting for doctor. Okay, why? Because doctor came to know that Hannah was under trouble. My dear children, Dr. Sadavo came out of the room and he met Hannah outside the room. Dr. Sadavo came to know that Hannah was in trouble. What was the trouble? Do you want to know that? Wait for some time. I'll meet you soon with the third part of our lesson, The Enemy Returned by Pearl S. Buck. Take care until we meet again. Thank you for being with me.